Hi, and welcome back to the Trust Divisions podcast. We appreciate you joining us. And this week, we're going to start a new series about the transition process and maybe go in a little bit more detail. Jeremy, what are some things that advisors can do to better prepare themselves to make a move so that the process doesn't seem so overwhelming?
John, you brought up a great question, and I love this topic for this month. I know you brought this up last week of, how about we address, we always hear transitions are too much work to even consider making a move. And so this month to our audience, we're really going to talk about a transition and starting from point A and getting to point Z. And so to start and to answer your question, John, where does an advisor start or an OSJ start if they're seeing frustrations with their broker dealer? And the first thing to address the question that we get pretty much every day and frequently is a transition is too much work. Well, to our audience, I would say, yes, a transition is work. There's no doubt about it. There's some heavy lifting, there's some loss of revenue that's made up by the transition money. But the first thing you got to ask yourself is the frustrations or uncertainty with your current broker dealer worth 30 to 45 days of work to get through a transition for the next 3, 5, 7, 10 years? And I can't answer that for you. I think we all have an answer that makes sense. But yes, there is a short-term pain. But is going through that transition going to create better efficiencies for your practice? Ease of doing business with your clients? From a technology standpoint, is it going to be better? And from a payouts and pricing standpoint, is it going to be better? So that would be the first thing that I would tell our audience is asking yourself, is the short-term pain worth the long-term gain? The other thing I would say is in the very beginning to our audience, lay out your frustrations with your current broker dealer. And the reason for that is we want to make sure whatever frustrations, whether that's service and support, whether that's technology, whether that's pricing, whether it's constant changes, when we're exploring broker dealer options, we want to make sure that those same frustrations don't exist, because the last thing you want to do is make a lateral move. And so make out a list of your frustrations, but also make out a wish list of, if you were to make a move, what would that look like and what would you want or desire? And that's, again, better technology, better efficiencies with your business. We hear a lot of advisors say, I absolutely despise right bridge or doing a variable annuity because it's like giving a blood sample and writing a 4-page essay. Well, not all firms require those things. So make out a wish list of what's important to you, or what, and even if it seems far fetched, there may be firms out there that allow it. So that would be my second point. My third point is start pulling your reports. And, there's a variety of different reports to pull, but you always want to have on hand your trailing 12 months production report with your date and your name on the report. It has to be in PDF. It can't be in Excel because that can be manipulated. Pull your asset report of where those assets are, whether it's brokerage business, direct to fund business, advisory business, and broken down on that advisory business of what's with third party money managers, what's with the InvestNets of the world, what's with Rep as PM. And also, it, it always amazes me that a lot of advisors don't know where their broker dealer contract is. Make sure you have a copy of your broker dealer contract, because that's going to answer a lot of questions for you of, do you have to give a notice, a 30-day, 45, 90-day notice to your current broker dealer letting them know that you're leaving, or is a notice required? Some firms, if you leave, let's call it in the month of March, even though you leave in March, you still have to pay your affiliation fees with that current broker dealer through the end of the year, which we won't get into the technicalities there. I don't see how that can be right, but know your contract. And even when it comes to how they pay commissions after you leave, because a lot of broker dealers, the majority of broker dealers, are going to pay your commissions and advisory fees for up to 30 days after you leave. In addition to that, understand, do you have a forgivable loan still outstanding, and have that promissory note in hand, which we can help review, not that we can give legal advice, but you want to know, At what point do you owe that money back? Is there interest being charged on that note once you leave? If so, is that interest from the principal balance? Is it from the original balance? Those are all things you want to know before you even begin your broker dealer search. The other thing I would say is, you know, put together a time frame of when you want to start your due diligence process on broker dealers, when you want to make a decision to move, and then you want to give yourself 4 to 8 weeks from the time that you make the decision to when you want to become effective. Because in a transition, probably 90-95% of the work is done before you even resign from your broker dealer. So the reason I say have a time frame in place is because if you don't, this can linger on, and I've seen this throughout my 20 plus year career, for a year, 18 months, 24 months, and that's okay. But it could become a business disruption where it's a full-time job conducting your due diligence on a broker dealer or broker dealers versus serving your clients. And so, and then from a time frame standpoint, understand on your advisory business, are you billing monthly or quarterly in advance? Are you billing monthly or quarterly in arrears? Because that's going to help you determine when the best time to make a broker dealer change is, based off of when those advisory fees are paid to you and billed to your client and what's reimbursed to them. And so I know that was a general overview, but this month we're really going to dig into what a transition looks like and get granular on it. Um, my last piece of advice is engage in a consultant like Trusted Visions, because like I said, this can be a full-time job going through that due diligence process. And rather than you reaching out to 50 different broker dealers to see what their offering is and whether they're a good fit, we can help narrow that search down by, based off of your wish list and what you're looking for, guide and direct you to the firms that you should be talking to. So I hope that you found this valuable. Like I said, we're going to get much more in depth throughout this month about a transition and what it entails. But if you have any questions, don't hesitate to call or text me 480-430-5012 or info@trustedvisions.com.
Jeremy, that's great information, especially with regard to timelines. It's so important to stick to those timelines to keep from extending the frustration that you're having with your current broker dealer. And to our audience, we appreciate you stopping by and look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks again.